Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh well, here we go again. It's the same script, folks. The same panic, the same fear-mongering, the same crying wolf. It's a broken frickin' record is what it is. The Republicans have passed the one big beautiful bill. Donald Trump's landmark tax, border, and economic reform package has officially passed the House, and now it's headed to the Senate where it only needs 51 votes. And of course, it's all out pandemonium in Washington. The Republicans passed a bill. Quick, sound the alarm. Every frickin' time. It's the worst thing ever. The Democrats are acting like it's frickin' doomsday. They're sounding the alarm and making the argument that this bill is essentially gonna ruin your life. Except there's only one problem. They're sputtering the exact same 3 recycled talking points that they've been vomiting out since 2017 and even before that. It's really the Bernie Sanders shtick. My billionaires. Oh, my Medicare cuts. The deficit. Oh, he's gonna balloon the deficit. Except there's only one problem with these talking points. They're old, played out, and full of you know frickin' what. It's nothing but manufactured partisan outrage and fear-mongering, and it's especially rich coming from the party of the billionaire. Ooh, Donald Trump's bill is gonna highly benefit all of our billionaire class voters and puppet masters. Yeah, you really think the Democrats would have an issue with that? I don't think so. They're full of you-know-what, and I want to have that conversation. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so yeah, the talking points as usual.
This is Robin Hood in reverse, taking resources from where it is most needed and giving it to those who need it less, the billionaires in America.
House Republicans began marking up this dangerous tax bill, this tax scam.
$500 billion cuts to Medicare, cuts to veterans' health care.
Millions of Americans will lose their health care. Our children, grandparents, veterans, and people with disabilities will have food taken away.
It's going to be the largest cut to health care in American history. 14 million people who rely on Medicaid, the most vulnerable people in our population, in our neighborhoods, seniors, children, folks with disabilities. It's also going to trigger people losing their health coverage through the ACA.
This bill would kick 14 million Americans off their health care. It would kick 18 million children off the food assistance they need to eat. And it would add $4 trillion to our deficit.
This reckless Republican budget will take away health care from 14 million Americans and at the same time enact the largest cut to nutritional assistance in American history.
This piece of legislation is the biggest transfer of wealth from the working class to the ultra wealthy in the history of the United States.
This bill is going to bring about the biggest deficit increase in American history. And for what? This is all for the biggest tax breaks, tax giveaways in American history to billionaires and big corporations.
Okay, so you heard the talking points. Now let's go through the issues one by one. First, quote, it benefits the rich, right? My billionaires. Well, first of all, yeah, this is true. But the way the left's framing it is untrue because they're saying that this bill is benefiting billionaires while hurting the middle class. But that's not the case at all. This bill cuts taxes across the board. It's a broad tax cut. So yeah, it's not just for the wealthy, it's for the middle class, the lower class, the working poor, seniors, tip workers, small business owners, overtime earners. It's a broad tax cut for everyone. And based on the presentation we've seen so far, if you earn anywhere from $30,000 to $80,000 a year, your tax bill could drop as much as 15%. What's going on here is the left has totally taken the strategy of driving a socio-economic wedge in society. It's all about class warfare to them. And they love to pretend as if tax cuts for wealthy people, well, it's somehow a bad thing for the poor. But that isn't the case at all when top earners, who also happen to be the top job creators, investors, and business owners, pay less in taxes. Well, what happens? They hire more, they build more, they increase salaries for the employees that they want to keep. That means more jobs, higher wages, and more opportunity for the average American. And we know this to be the case because of Donald Trump's first term. The exact same thing, right? 2017 tax cuts hit. Oh, it's the worst thing ever. I mean, word for word, verbatim, the same talking points. But that was the best time to be working class in probably the last 20 years. But then we've got talking point number 2. Donald Trump is being irresponsible bill, he's gonna balloon the deficit. We can't cut people's taxes. We need to increase their taxes so we can pay off this massive debt that we keep snowballing out of control. But again, give me a break. They said the same thing about the 2017 tax cuts. The CBO made a doom and gloom claim. But then what happened? They were wrong. Growth exploded, especially in 2019. Wages went up, and the federal government actually took in more revenues. Even the CBO admitted that they underestimated the economic boost. It's a very simple strategy, as Scott Bessent laid out the other day that we covered. It's not just about cutting taxes, it's about growing the economy so fast that the debt to GDP ratio starts to shrink, creating a bunch of revenue so tax revenues increase, and then slowly but surely you could start chipping away at that massive pile of debt. They're telling you that Trump is being fiscally irresponsible and that his 2017 tax cuts balloon the deficit, but really what they're doing is skewing the numbers by using the reactive pandemic spending of 2020 as part of their arithmetic. If you take a look at the healthy years before the pandemic, their narrative just wasn't correct. In other words, they're lying. They're lying because they desperately don't want you to get a tax cut. And it's so rich hearing them talk about the deficit when they're the ones who clearly don't care about the deficit. They're the ones who were perfectly fine in the recovering stages of a pandemic-caused recession, on a yearly basis spending $2 trillion more than they could actually afford to spend. Oh, no talks about ballooning the deficit at that point, right? Give me a break. These people are the biggest liars on the planet. And speaking of lies, their favorite talking point, Donald Trump is cutting Medicare. Absolutely false. What this bill actually does is stop the outright abuse of government benefits by, drumroll please, illegal migrants and able-bodied freeloaders. It removes 1.4 million illegal aliens off of taxpayer-funded Medicaid, and also puts some very needed provisions that basically state that if you're capable of working, if you're able-bodied and you choose not to, well, no more free ride. You want to get coverage, you get a job. Yeah, that's how it should work in a functioning society. They are full of it, and it's almost reaching parody levels. But yeah, the bill passed. And I think this time the fear-mongering is going to flop. I've been looking at polling data. It seems a majority of people questioned, even in the left-wing polls, actually support the one big beautiful bill, which tells me one thing. People see what's coming next. They see the booming economy, a surging middle class. They see the potential of investment, getting back to work, the revitalization of the American workforce. They see the potential of this paradigm shift, and clearly they see right through the Democrats and their typical games. Just like in 2018 and 2020 and 2024, it's always the same thing, right? The same reaction. Instead of dealing in the facts, it's just, oh, my rich, my billionaires, oh, my cuts. It's the same play, the same boy who cried wolf every time. And I think the American people are starting to wisen up to the grift. They're not falling for it anymore. People want tax relief, they want a booming economy, and they want destiny in their hands. But clearly Democrats have a problem with that because Democrats want to control your destiny. They want to control your money. They want to control industries. They want more taxes, more debt, more control. And that's of course the exact opposite of what this bill does. This bill is going to cause an economic boom. And I guarantee you, let's just say 2 years from now, Democrats once again are going to look real dumb. But what's new? Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.